Clyde Tombaugh, scientific consultant to Project Twinkle and discoverer of Pluto.
Well, of the three different types of objects that I have seen, I would say the most extraordinary one was one I saw in 1949 in August in Las Cruces from my backyard. On that particular evening, my wife and her mother and I were enjoying the cool air, and I was admiring the beautiful transparent sky with the stars, and I happened to be looking overhead, and suddenly I spied a strange group of lights moving, and I said, look, and they saw it immediately, and then I would say they were visible for about 3 seconds of time, and they disappeared at a height of about 35 degrees above the southeastern horizon. No sound, and they seemed to kind of pale out. The rectangles of feeble light seemed to foreshorten into slits. And I've never seen anything like it before or since, and I'm very much puzzled as to what the thing was.
Hermann Oberth, father of German rocketry and NASA rocket scientist, and mentor to Werner von Braun.
After so many witnesses have seen the so-called flying saucers, their existence cannot longer be denied. I believe that these flying objects come from another solar system.
Lieutenant Colonel Charles Brown, AFOSI officer during Project Grudge.
Our organization was the worldwide investigative agency for the Air Force for any unidentified flying objects. This lasted for about 2 years. The project name was known as Project Grudge. It was a predecessor to a project known as Blue Book, which Ed Ruppelt headed. During my experience with it, I would collect the data from, I didn't collect it, it was sent into my office. I analyzed it. As a pilot investigator, I was able to offer some bits of advice to during the review as an analyst of these various documentary reports, if you will, or documents, I became clearly convinced that there was substance to what was being reported, in that we had ground visual, ground radar, airborne visual, and airborne radar confirmation of some of these sightings. The individuals who made the sightings were everything from airline pilots, military pilots, police officers, some of the people that your lives depend upon on a daily basis. These are very reputable and credible people.
Wilbert Smith, the head of Project Magnet, the Canadian UFO study which collaborated with Project Blue Book.
In the study of unidentified flying objects and physical principles which might appear to be involved, the conclusions reached by Project Magnet and contained in the official report were based on a rigid statistical analysis of sighting reports and were as follows. There is a 91% probability that at least some of the sightings are of real objects of unknown origin. There is about 60% probability that these objects are alien vehicles. That is, alien meaning not of earthly fabrication.
William Coleman, Public Information Officer for Project Blue Book.
They presented the first close-up account by highly reliable witnesses. The object described led some of the staff to postulate an extraterrestrial theory, and they wrote up an estimate of the situation, which at the time was classified top secret, suggesting that the saucers were from outer space.
We have not been able to come up with a logical explanation. At least our scientists have not. The only plausible explanation that would explain all of these sightings is the theory that these could be intelligently controlled vehicles controlled by an alien species, alien to this planet.
Robert Friend, former chief of Project Blue Book.
Things that people have experienced, they're real because we've been able to, in many instances, track down exactly what the cause was. But there is a small percent that we have not yet been able to solve. And what I believe and recommended in 2 staff studies is that an agency such as NASA or an advanced projects agency take on the task of doing the analysis, the in-depth analysis of these things.
Jenny Ziedman, secretary to J. Allen Hynek.
By the time Project Blue Book was finished, after 20 years, 21 years, I think Allen Hynek had come to hate the Air Force. I think the Air Force had come to hate Allen Hynek. Allen Hynek came to recognize that UFOs represented a veritable scientific mystery.
Dr. J. Allen Hynek, Chief Scientific Advisor for Project Blue Book.
In association with Project Blue Book, I know very well that it was not a scientific project. Also, I also know that they never would notify the media when an interesting case came up. They did everything they could to keep it down. So they definitely withheld information.